रमेश पढ़ी स्क्रीन हाँ रमेश
So what I am doing is Manish sir will come and sit here for his remarks, and when he is done, I will sit on the same camera. Okay, so we will come. I will till that time I will be sitting beside him. So I am renaming myself as Manish Singh.
You're giving yourself a promotion.
See, Mr. Wadwana,
yes.
The first remarks is of Mr. Manish Kumar. Manish Singh, sorry.
Yes. So first remarks will be by Manish Singh.
Yes. So we will start exactly at 4.
Perfect. Perfect. So we are ready. We are ready. He is just coming. ये मैं आपका सर रिनेम कर देता हूँ, आप यहाँ आ जाइए, ये आपके नाम से कम।
Hi Samantha, welcome.
able to join?
म्यूट करना होगा।
Good morning. This is Manish.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, morning. Should we start?
We will start exactly at 4.
Okay, after 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I didn't see the time.
So we are starting. So good morning, everybody, and it is good morning in London, UK, and good afternoon in India. So good morning and good afternoon to all who are attending this. Of course, from GJEPC and from the Indian trade and from the UK trade. So welcome everybody. In the first India Global Connect event of the Gem and Jewellery Export Promotion Council of India, popularly it is known as GJEPC, the apex body of gem and jewellery trade in India, which is an autonomous body of around 7,000 members who work under the aegis of the Department of Commerce, Government of India. We are happy to inform you that looking at the close relationship between gem and jewellery trade of India and United Kingdom, the first global connect is being done with United Kingdom only. So the decision we have taken is first global connect of this format we are doing with UK, and GJEPC sensing the opportunity. Yes, it is an opportunity which the COVID-19 has given to us by making all meetings happen in the virtual space, has created this unique platform, India Global Connect. This will connect jewellery manufacturers of India or the jewellery trade of India with all countries in the world where there is a jewellery industry. In my opinion, there is no country in the world who is not having a jewellery industry of their own. This event will act as an icebreaker of sorts and will create the ideal connect between India and the global jewellery industry. We are privileged to have with us from the Indian government representatives, Sri Manish Singh, who is the Councillor Economic, representing the High Commission of India in UK. The Sri Suresh Kumar, who was supposed to join, he is busy in the meeting and he cannot join from the Department of Commerce, Government of India. We have with us Sri Colin Shah, Chairman, GJEPC, Sri Mansukh Kothari, who is the convener events, under whose subcommittee this event is being held. Of course, Jayant is there. Jayant Raniga is, of course, the Indian, connect to USA, UK, and he is a great help. And Mehul Lodia is the GJEPC coordinator in UK, who is also with us today. I welcome you all on behalf of GJEPC to this India Global Connect Meet, a networking event between Indian and British trade on gems and jewellery. Now I invite upon Sri Manish Singh, Minister Economy from the Indian High Commission in UK, to say a few words. Mr. Manish Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Sabyasachi. And I'm really privileged and I am very honored to be at this first Global Connect being organized by GJEPC. Let me start by thanking the organizers for developing this platform to promote trade between India and the UK in the sector of gems and jewellery. Let me start by saying that, wishing that I hope that all of you are well and safe, and your family members, your loved ones are well and safe. This is in the context of the current situation that we are facing. We would have loved to host you in London and in India House as we've been doing in the years before. But given the situation, we have to welcome you virtually. Talking of the current situation, I must say that these are difficult times, not only for businesses, but for individuals, for society, for governments. So everybody is going through a tough period, and in these times, the coming together of organizations coming together of families, people, and governments is something which is very, very important. I'd say that this is the time for collaboration. And talking of collaboration, I must bring to you the information that India and UK have been collaborating in different fields, and in the context of COVID-19, we have been collaborating to develop a vaccine, which everyone is looking forward to. This collaboration has moved ahead. You're all aware that AstraZeneca, Oxford, and Serum Institute are working together towards a vaccine, which the trials of which are moving ahead. There were some glitches that came up in the past 2 weeks, but I'm told that they are now have been overcome, and the trials have moved ahead. The Serum Institute from India has already started production, awaiting the approvals, and the recent UN General Assembly address by our Prime Minister, the Prime Minister from UK, have all referred to this development, and we all look forward to having a vaccine by the end of the year, early next year. And not only this vaccine is being developed in collaboration between different countries, but there are other vaccines in which there are global collaborations which are working on it, and hopefully we should have a vaccine, and we should be able to overcome the challenges that we have. So talking of collaboration, so in the health sector, yes, but the businesses have to move on, and what better way than collaborating and trying to find ways of increasing the trade, increasing the businesses to support global prosperity, as they say it here. Talking of India-UK trade, our trade in 2019 was 24 billion pounds, which was which showed an increase of 10% compared to the year before. This, in spite of the last quarter being impacted by the COVID emergence, the gems and jewelry component of that trade is a very, very important component. It is one of the top 5 bilateral trade items between India and the UK. As Mr. Ray pointed out, that there's no country in the world which doesn't have gems and jewelry. So it is a very, very, and India is one of the leaders in global gems and jewelry trade. The Indian craftsmen for centuries have been the people behind making these jewelries and exporting them. I remember from my school history that during the Indus Valley civilization also, so gems from India were a trading item. So we take pride in our gems and jewelry sector, and we take pride in the work that is done in India, and we understand that there are some challenges in this the trade of this sector, especially in the context of India and UK. There are challenges with respect to some custom duty related issues. Some accounting issues have come up recently. I'd like the panelists of this meeting to throw more light on these issues so that we can work towards finding solutions to the challenges that have cropped up. And towards this, I must tell you that India and UK have a very robust government-to-government mechanisms to deal with such issues. And these government-to-government mechanisms like JETCO, EFD are supported by business-led joint working groups where businesses come together from both the sides. They identify not only challenges, but opportunities also, and they feed into this government-to-government mechanisms where both the governments at the very highest level take up these issues and find solutions for them. In bilateral issues, some things take long, some are identified and settled fast. But in the context of India and UK, in the context of imminent Brexit, in the context of finding a post-COVID, post-Brexit enhanced bilateral trading partnership, we have escalated this bilateral mechanisms meetings to a monthly level meetings. The last JETCO, which was in July, and came up with a mechanism where the Minister of State for both the countries meet on a regular basis, and they are engaging regularly to look at quick wins and quick solutions to the bilateral trading challenges. And I'm sure if this meeting gives us a feedback on these things, we'll take it up to them and put it across to both the governments to work on it and find those solutions. I'll end by saying that I look forward to this meeting and the deliberations from the meetings. I'm sure there will be not only solutions proposed for the challenges, but also you'll identify new opportunities for enhancing India-UK trade in this sector. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Manish Singh, the Councillor Economic of the Indian High Commission in UK. And of course, we will take it, we require your support, we require the High Commission support, we require the Indian government support to take the relationship further. Now I would request our chairman, Sri Colin Shah, to give you some insight into the Indian industry, the strength of the Indian industry, the strength of the Indian manufacturing sector in GJEPC. I would leave it to Sri Colin Shah.
Thank you. Thank you, Samya. And thank you, Manish ji, for those inspiring words. Welcome to all our panelists. And, we'll just give a small presentation so we can keep it crisp and to the point. Yeah, go to the next slide. So a little bit about GJEPC. So the Gem and Jewellery Export Promotion Council has been, it's one of the EPCs of started by the Ministry of Commerce. It's 55 years old, so it's a little younger than our independence time, but at the same time, it's been one of the aggressive trade bodies in India amongst all the EPCs which exist. We represent our industry's issues to the government, and we work on trade facilitation on various fronts, whether it's policy, it's banking, customs, taxation, all kinds of challenges which our members have. Besides that, we obviously play a very instrumental role in trade development, and today's seminar is also, I guess, further to what our key role is. So whether it's the Indian Pavilion and exhibitions abroad, it's trade delegations, it's expos, it's the IIJs that we do, which I assume some of you all have come to. But if you all haven't, I would really invite you all to the virtual one that we're having in a couple of weeks and the physical one, hopefully next year. So besides that, we do trade shows globally. We also have common facility centers, which is a very interesting concept where even MSMEs and SMEs, especially small manufacturers, have access to tech. We're setting up a jewelry park and a gem booth very soon. And besides that, we have various social initiatives, whether it's group Mediclaim for all our workers, it's through Swasthkosh, Swasthratna, and there's a lot of details on our website about both our schemes. We also are on the journey of self-regulation through My KYC Bank, which gives you, like any customer or banker or anybody in this industry, an entire KYC on all our members. We also are the nodal agency for the KP process. And besides that, we have 7 skilling centers and 3 certification labs. A little insight into our exports to UK. They've been between 500 and 900 million dollars. 2018 was a little peak. That was before the Brexit year. But since then, we're at 500 million dollars. And our imports from the UK last year were 150 million dollars. In gems and jewelry, what we export mainly is gold jewelry, cut and polished diamonds, silver jewelry. What we import is platinum, rough diamonds, and lab grown diamonds. And UK share in India's exports right now is at number 9. And that's what we would really like to jump up, is increase our share of exports to the UK. So India has been an expert on manufacturing, I guess, practically everything in gems and jewelry, whether it comes to diamonds, gemstones, diamond jewelry, plain gold jewelry, silver jewelry, jada, polki. So we've had a very portfolio base in our country. And we would like to believe that we're world leaders in most of them. The number of units that are in our country right now in manufacturing are 1 million. The people engaged in this industry are 4.3 million. Our exports are 36 billion. The special economic zones, we have 10 of them, which account for superior infrastructure, advanced tech, highly skilled workers. We have 390 clusters, and we import around 800 million tons of gold. So very impressive numbers. And we're sure that we'll not only sustain but grow this position in years to come. So a little bit about diamonds. Though we don't have any rough mine in India, we've over the last few decades grown into becoming at the forefront of the diamond trade. 14 out of 15 diamonds are cut and polished in Surat, Navsari, and in India. BDB and in Bombay is the main diamond trading and manufacturing, the hub for diamonds, where all kinds of polished diamonds, whether it's any shape, any size, are available, and customers from all over the world come. It's a one-stop destination. In gemstones, we cut 90% of the emeralds, and all of tanzanites are cut and polished in India. We've developed expertise in high precision 3-dimensional carving capabilities in semi-precious stones, which is very interesting even for, I would say, brands in the UK. And we are the number 1 exporter, of course, in cut and polished diamonds, and the top 5 exporters of gemstones in the world. In jewelry, we have a highly diverse range. We do right from very, entry-level price points right up to very higher-end couture jewelry. We do all kinds of categories, whether it's rings, handmade necklaces, all kinds of caratages. And I guess it would be interesting for, at least on the UK side, to know that we do a lot of 9 carat as well as platinum, besides obviously 14 and 18K. There's a lot of handcrafted filigree jewelry, which is also made in India because of the expertise which has been passed on over generations with especially the Bengali and Rajasthani worker. And now with CNC and the modern tech which has come, so in India everything is possible when it comes to imports, because there's not only very high hand craftsmanship availability with high quality and design, but even extremely high tech factories which are able to produce what the mall kind of jewelry which you would need in UK. And besides that, a point to ponder upon is that most of our manufacturers are even RJC certified. So if the manufacturing done is responsibly done. In terms of tech, there's CAD, CAM, there's laser technology, there's all, very high level of quality control and testing. There's a lot of factories which work with top brands in US and Europe and even in the UK. And there's obviously scope of developing that business further over there. Over here, I just want to highlight that we have this virtual show coming up 12th to 16th October. So would love to invite all of you all to participate in that show and come and visit and look at all the possibilities which are possible. And we also have a virtual buyer seller meet coming up, very soon. So we'll, we have updates about that on our website. I would really urge all of y'all to, like our Facebook and Instagram page, and on our website, we have our updates very regularly. We also have a mobile app, and we would like to believe, everything that we do is on our YouTube channel. So there's access to all kinds of activities on what council is up to, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of value add for everyone on your side. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Over to you, Sabya.
Thank you, Colin. That is a brilliant synopsis. In small time and small space, you have given a very good overview. And now we go forward, or we move forward, and I'd like to invite David Brow, the editor of the Jewellery Outlook magazine. David is a long, friend of GJEPC and Indian industry, and I think very few people in UK know better than about the Indian industry. And David, over to you. I think you can moderate through the entire session. It is now yours.
Thank you so much, Sabyasachi, and thank you everybody for joining today. I would like this to become a very free-flowing and interesting conversation, which will essentially take us all forward in terms of exploring opportunities to boost Indian-UK trade in the gems and jewellery sector. Clearly, this conversation comes at a very timely moment during the period of Brexit, but also during the period of the coronavirus pandemic, which is having a huge impact on both of our countries. The key point about India is that it is a top 5 supplier of gems and jewellery to the world market with an extraordinary heritage of handcrafting jewellery, but also manufacturing gems and jewellery. And India is the #1 exporter of polished diamonds and diamond jewellery to the world, notably polished diamonds, because as you know, 14 out of every 15 diamonds at some stage will pass through India. So what I would like to do today is to structure a very free-flowing conversation exploring avenues ahead for cooperation and trade between the two countries, and also to showcase India's capabilities, because it may well be that members of the UK session, UK attendees today, don't fully realize the full scope of India's capability, whether it be across gold jewellery, silver jewellery, handcrafted jewellery, color gemstone jewellery. India is very well established in all of these areas. We're going to look at that. But what I would like to do first off is to go through the introductions very briefly of all of the panelists who are here today. So if I could ask for the first slide to be shown, and I'll just quickly talk through the panelists. So firstly, we have the UK panelists. I'm very pleased to introduce Richard Hunt of Stanley Hunt Jewellers, an independent jewellery retailer in the UK. I know one of the shops is based near Nottingham in Gainsborough. Emmett Cummins, who recently was appointed as head of the Company of Master Jewellers, which is the UK's largest buying group, whose members include many independent retailers in the United Kingdom, and holds in normal times, i.e. pre-pandemic times, 2 trade events every year in the UK. So I'd like to say hello to Emmett, whom I haven't met in person yet. So welcome, Emmett. Gemma Murphy from Jack Murphy, which is another independent jewellery retailer based in Northern Ireland. So welcome, Gemma. Pravin Patni is joining us from Meena Jewellers in Tooting. Pravin is a former chairman of the National Association of Goldsmiths, as it then was, and very experienced figure in the UK industry. Helen Dimmick is joining us. I'll be having a little bit of a chat with Helen later. Helen joined the IIJS Trade Fair in February in Mumbai, and we'll recount some of her experiences from attending the show. She is an independent consultant and a former retailer. She was with, she ran the Green and Ben's business, the independent retail business in the UK. Mehul Lodhia is the GJEPC's representative in the UK, good friend of mine. Mehul is an importer of gold jewellery and wholesaler, and has long experience in trade relations between the two countries. Gary Rowe runs Hockley Mint, which is a leading manufacturer based in Birmingham. Delighted to have Gary with us today. Paul Beasley is with Baird & Co., the gold merchant. Very happy, Paul, for you to join us. Samantha Summers is the chief jewellery buyer with Watches of Switzerland. And then Andrew Morton runs Western Beemore, which is another major manufacturer also based in Birmingham. And Andrew Hines runs the F. Hines multiple jewellery retailer. I think that's everybody. That's everybody I can see on the screen anyway, unless the screen can be just moved up. Have I got everybody on the UK side there? I assume so. So if we could then move on to the Indian delegation, please. So we're pleased to, it's a little bit like watching a Cecil B. DeMille movie, this, isn't it, with a cast of thousands. But anyway, we have Kunal Mehta, who is director of Diatrends Jewellery, a leading jewellery company and supplier in India. And Vikram Advani, who is Director Europe for Gold Star Jewellery, which is a diamonds supplier and diamond jewellery supplier. Puneet Verma is a partner with Hare Krishna Jewels, product category silver and 9-carat gold studded jewellery, and I understand gem set jewellery as well. Bhumik Gajera is director of Laxmi Diamond, PVT Limited, polished diamonds. Clearly, India is a huge supplier of polished diamonds to the world. So diamonds will feature largely in our conversation today. Shrenik Lunawat, partner of Lunawat Gems Corporation, a gem supplier based in, I understand, Jaipur. Milan Choksi, whom I know well, is a partner in Tanveer Kumar & Co. And produces fabulous handcrafted diamond jewellery. Rimesh Shah, CEO of Sheetal Diamonds. Aswini Agarwal is General Manager of Vaibhav Global Limited, supplier of silver and gold jewellery. Darshit Hirani, Director of P. Hirani Exports, product category natural fancy color diamonds jewellery. I'm stopping it. Great, thank you so much. So as you see, we have a very large participation today, so we have a lot of ground to cover. I would like this to be a free-flowing conversation, so if you would like to make a comment, please raise your hand in the old-fashioned way, and I will then invite you into the conversation. Please do make comments as brief as you can, because we have a lot of ground to cover, and we want to be as wide-ranging as we possibly can. First off, I'd just like to ask a question of Mr. Rohit from the India High Commission in London, if I may, just a big picture question. Rohit, could you just explain to us why, from the Indian government's perspective, gems and jewellery are so important? I mean, why do you feel this sector is such a major contributor to the Indian economy, and looking forward, how important will it be in your view? For the,
thank you, David. So as Minister Economics Sri Manish Singh has recently spoken, gems and jewellery is amongst the top 5 export and import sectors for both the countries. In last year's analysis, I could find out that they were rather reflecting in the top three items of our export and import, and they have remained there for considerable period of time. Not only that it adds value to our bilateral trade, but in addition, it has become more of people-to-people connect between the two countries. Because once you wear a jewellery, either diamond or gold or silver, it is something, I mean, you wear it with pride. And so when it is made in India or either made in UK and Indian people are wearing it, they reflect the people-to-people connect, they reflect the cultural connect, and that's why it becomes much more important. in addition, India, if I speak from Indian perspective, this sector creates a lot of employment in India and value addition. So that's why for High Commission, for GJEPC, for Government of India, we have always been focusing on gems and jewelry sector as one of the employment creator. And we would like to further promote this sector between the two countries.
Thank you very much. So essentially, India is an exporter of, in value terms, diamonds, polished diamonds and diamond jewellery, which is the biggest component in value terms of its exports, gold jewellery, handcrafted jewellery and silver jewellery. And I'd just like to ask four members of the Indian side to make some very brief comments on each of those components as to why they feel that India presents a value added and why India should be showcasing these segments in its exports. So if I could ask Milan Choksi first. Milan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, David.
Hi, Milan. Oh, there you are. So many people to see on the screen, but it's great to have you with us today. Milan, could you just speak very briefly about why you feel India has real value added in the export of polished diamonds and also diamond jewellery?
So, I mean, as the chairman kind of illustrated in his presentation, this is an industry which is years in the making. We have exceptional skill when it comes to cutting diamonds. We're actually, without being a miner, able to kind of create value out of extremely small stones that had no value all this time. And we added a whole new, kind of category in diamond jewelry sometime in the 70s and 80s. So with that experience and the scale of business that we have now established, it just becomes kind of, there's really no choice for most jewelers globally. Some part of their product either has, an Indian hand finishing it or, cutting the diamond. So it's pretty evident that, the scale of the industry just makes it an ideal, and I mean, there's little choice besides India in some way or the other.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'd like to call upon Aswini Agarwal. Aswini, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Hi, Aswini. Hey, good to talk with you. Could you talk a little bit about India's great skills in manufacturing of gold and silver jewellery, and why UK buyers, for example, should be doing business with India in those two market segments?
Yeah. As far as the skill is concerned, the skill of the silver jewelry, we have a particular, some Bengali and other Rajasthani, some particular states who have very, very highly skilled craftsmen who have learned the skills through centuries. And they have been passing on these talents to their further generation on a regular basis. So we have a factory in Jaipur who have almost 3,000 workers working only for silver and gold jewelry. And they are coming from 2 or 3 main states, and they have learned their skills from a very, from their ancestors. So they have, and apart from that, another big advantage we have in India is the labor force is still relatively available and also at lesser prices. So if we compare with China, since the labor cost has increased a lot, so we are at a very big, better position where we can provide good quality of manpower at a much better rates. So apart from that, one other point which I would like to touch is sustainability, which we have been focusing in our company. So basically, this time the Corona has taught us one big thing, that apart from that, working on the business, we have to work on the sustainability front also. So in this front, we are working. We have, our company has a target that we generate all our power from solar and also contribute to the society. So we are taking care of the workers also, so that new generation of people keep on adding. So that is it from my side.
Okay, thank you very much. It's great that you mentioned sustainability, because I know that from the side of the UK consumers, how increasingly demanding they are in terms of requiring a sustainable supply chain. So that's good to hear. Just turning to Indian exports of handcrafted jewellery, I wonder if I could just ask Mansukh Kothari. Mansukh, hi there.
Hi.
Hi, Mansukh. Could you tell me a little bit about why India is supremely skilled in terms of its generation of handcrafted jewellery to the global market?
So I think India is the oldest and the largest manufacturer of traditional handmade jewelry. We have a very unique strength of different art of India. A lot of like you can kundan, minakari, hand carving, bidri art, temple jewelry, jadav jewelry, filgari. So that's a lot of art that's still there in India. So that can be the USP of the India export to the world. And now coming now, we are fully developed now. We have highly talented design and skilled artisans creating a widest range of possible jewelry. We manufacture mass-produced diamond jewelry, designer jewelry for the European and the US market, and exclusively creating handcrafted jewelry in plain gold with studded color stones and diamonds. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much. And then just finally, the last segment, if I could ask Shrenik. Hello, Shrenik.
Hello, David.
Hi there. Could you tell us a little bit about India's expertise in color gemstone jewellery and manufacturing of gems and also gem set jewellery to the world market?
Sure. So as Mr. Milan and Mr. Ashwini said, it's the people. That's the most important thing that we have, our most important asset. Such thing, it's been created over centuries. It's something that's embedded in the culture of cities like Jaipur, where people have been working in gemstones for generations now. So this is something that's extremely difficult to recreate. So what we're doing is we're just building on that, incorporating technology along with the art of making gemstones that creates an almost unachievable USP for us in terms of natural gemstones, particularly, which is probably the most important thing that we have.
Great, thank you very much. So now I'd like to shift the conversation to the UK. I'd like to call upon Helen Dimmick, an independent consultant and also an envoy to the National Association of Jewellers in the UK. Helen has been closely tracking jewellery trends in the UK market, and would like to break down those 4 segments, Helen, if I may, and ask your views on what trends you are seeing right now in the UK market. And hopefully this will be useful for the Indian suppliers to listen to. So starting with diamonds and diamond jewellery, what trends are you seeing right now in the UK market in terms of cuts and the types of diamonds that are doing particularly well?
Yeah. Hi, David. I think overall, I'm seeing an increase in demand for diamond jewellery. We're seeing an increase in the average transaction value. I also think in terms of luxury spend, our market share in terms of diamond jewellery has grown, which is fantastic. In terms of product categories, it's really opening up. I'm seeing more interest in old cuts, in fancy cuts, in salt and pepper diamonds and laboratory grown diamonds. There's more of an appreciation of the rarity and the importance of diamonds at the moment.
That's very interesting, because as well as seeing the sort of demand for, if you like, for kind of perfect diamonds, say for engagement, you're also seeing a demand for salt and pepper diamonds, sort of a celebration of imperfection, if you like, and rough stones too.
Yeah, cuts, yeah.
In terms of the engagement ring market, Helen, what are you seeing in terms of, say, demand for platinum with diamond jewellery versus white gold with diamond jewellery, especially considering the price trends that we've seen lately, with gold prices soaring and platinum prices being roughly half the price of gold? What can you tell us about the engagement ring market in the UK?
Again, we're seeing more requests for engagement, which is a lovely sort of post-COVID celebration, I think. Yes, we're seeing an increased pricing opportunity to purchase more platinum. But it's funny, the increase in gold prices has almost reaffirmed the value and the preciousness of gold. We're seeing a renewed interest in yellow gold, and for engagement, even more coloured stones. And the celebration of yellow gold when you can set an engagement ring in it is a lovely combination.
Okay, so that's very interesting. Yellow gold. What about rose gold and white gold? What trends do you see in those hues?
We're actually seeing quite an enjoyment of mixing the metals as well. But I would say that platinum still, probably for diamonds, is dominating still in the UK engagement market.
And what about colour gemstones in the UK market? What trends are you seeing? What stones are particularly sought after now? Obviously, during the the coronavirus pandemic, there is perhaps a desire for more joyfulness in people's lives. What can you tell us about colour gem demand?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think it's about a celebration and certainly, and also a relevance of coloured gemstones. So we've been celebrating rainbow gems, we've been celebrating birthstones and the meaning of different gemstones. Personally, I've seen more sales in tanzanite and in things like peridot and aquamarine, mixing colours, celebrating, and just a greater appreciation of wanting to live and love the colour of life.
And finally, in terms of trends, Helen, what trends are you seeing in the UK market in terms of silver jewellery, both branded and non-branded? And what opportunities could there be for Indian silver jewellery manufacturers going forward, in your view?
This is where I've personally seen some more volatility. So some brands are significantly down, but where I think there is an opportunity is increasing. Retailers are turning more towards their own brand and their own identity. And I see a significant opportunity for manufacturers to develop brands under the umbrella of individual retailers. And also they are significantly improving when there's a relevance, there's a symbolism, or there's some memorial aspect. So I'm ensuring that the jewellery is more meaningful and significant has been very strong.
Okay, thanks for that. I just want to follow up with Jay, if I may, Jay Raniger from Pure Jewels. With regard to silver jewellery, Jay, I know that you have experiences importing silver jewellery from India, and you have a project coming up now with the National Gallery in London, don't you? Can you just tell us very briefly about that, what your experience was working with Indian silver jewellery manufacturer suppliers, and how things are progressing in terms of bringing that silver jewellery to market with such a prestigious host as the National Gallery?
Thank you very much, David, and with great pleasure. So my company has been established in the UK for the last 45 years. And we recently became the official jewelry partner to the National Gallery, which is a great honor and a hugely prestigious project. And we worked, so we have our own design team in-house, and we've developed the entire collection from a design point of view in-house. But of course, while we were able to do all the prototyping in the UK, we really needed to draw on the expertise, on the the master stone cutters of Jaipur and some of the handcrafted skilled craftspeople in India. So, we had to draw that experience, and it was a great collaboration, and it's an ongoing collaboration between our design expertise and, of course, the narrative of the National Gallery, creating collections inspired by the Baroque era and the subject of Artemisia is challenging. But and it really requires the collaboration of our entire industry to put together any type of collection. So we've really been working very closely with our Indian colleagues in helping to craft and build that particular collection.
Great, thank you very much indeed. So now I'd just like to explore a little bit the Indian supply chain. I mean, clearly India essentially is not a miner, it's a manufacturer, and it is also a supply of artisanal jewellery. Looking to sustainability and the importance of sustainability in the Indian supply chain, I wonder if I could ask Milan Choksi again to tell us a little bit about the Indian industry's views towards sustainability and creating a responsible supply chain and responsible conditions in the workplace. So Milan, do you have a few comments you'd like to make on the question of sustainability?
Yeah, so most of the members of the GJEPC would be either our JC members or ISO certified, or they would have some kind of accreditation. And none of this is kind of possible unless you're compliant. So, in terms of employment, all the factories now are probably 100% compliant on employment front. On sustainability, when it comes to, say, pollution and ecological kind of compliance, the cities that factories are based out of all have, their own kind of regulations, and licenses are not granted unless factories are compliant. So really speaking, it's, every factory that operates out of India is probably compliant on all those fronts.
Great, thank you very much. And I'd like to ask Sabyasachi a question, if I may, regarding diversity in the workplace and gender equality. In broad terms, Sabyasachi, what can you tell us about the Indian industry's efforts to move towards a more diverse workforce where gender equality is encouraged? Are we seeing shifts in this direction in India?
Thank you, David. I think this is one area where the Indian industry is thriving a lot. And I can tell you, I have also come across factories in Surat and factories in Bombay where, there are factories which are totally manned with women workers, So that way, if you're talking about gender equality, I think you have visited a lot. There is a special economic zone called SEEPS and Santa Cruz Electronic Export Processing Zone. In that zone, if you go, you will see that most of the factories are having a large amount of lady workers, because what has been already envisaged by the management of these jewelry concerns is that not only the lady workers are efficient, they are, of course, honest to their work, and in the end of the day, this transformation in the last, past decade, the transformation happened very fast, and now it is happening much more faster, keeping with the Indian trends. If you see the India also, the way India is going, the emancipation or the empowerment of the women workforce in India in every sphere is a huge one, and that the reflection of that is also in our trade itself. So that you can see everywhere in all factories, in all workplaces, and in the management also.
Okay, thank you very much, Sabyasachi. I'd like to touch upon the capability of the Indian supply to adapt to very challenging orders, say from UK buyers. And I'd like to open this up to the floor on the Indian side, if I may. So any Indian supplier or manufacturer can answer this question. In general terms, how nimble is the Indian industry in terms of its capability to adapt to demanding orders that may come from the UK side? I mean, for example, if there were an order for 9-carat gold jewellery or UK designs, not traditional Indian designs, how capable is the Indian industry to respond? I'd like to open that up to the floor, so please jump in, anybody. Vikram, is that Vikram Advani from Gold Star? Yes.
Want to take that? You're on mute, Kunal.
Hello.
Yeah.
Vikram is answering that.
Vikram?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah. The 9-carat or the British-centric jewelry. Many of the factories who are dealing in Europe, they are well aware of the requirements, where even the alloy requirements, the REACH certification, all those requirements are there with the manufacturers, and they are following that, selling into UK companies. Also, there is a Birmingham SA office inside the SEEPS zone in India. So even the SA facilities are provided to the customers in UK within India. So even that aspect of the business is taken care of. And and the design and all, many companies are dealing with UK companies for many years. So that they have understood more about the design and the requirements and, the procedures and all for the UK market. Thank you.
Vikram, quick follow-up, if I may, to that. Do you foresee possibilities in future for collaborations between, say, UK designers and Indian manufacturers?
Yes, definitely. I'm sure it must be happening already for some people. And that's probably one of the ways to go, because there are many good designers and factories in the UK who need manufacturing support for mass manufacturing. So that can be looked into even further now. And definitely there is a huge scope in this.
David, I'd like to put a comment on that front.
Please go ahead, Dr.
Yeah, so we deal only into color diamonds, so right? So the color diamonds are very finite in nature in terms of, so it's not easy to design a piece. So many times, I mean, over a period of, we've been doing this for 4 decades now. So many times you got to work a lot with the designers and discuss about different possibilities. So they might have many ideas, right? But since the diamonds are very limited in nature, certain shapes, certain sizes might not be available that easily. So sometimes they might have a design which are very difficult to execute otherwise. So there's a lot of to and fro communication that we personally have a lot with many designers, be it on Mayfair or Bond Street, various others, over there, local designers also. We have a lot of conversation with them, trying to figure out, what they can do, understand their capabilities per se, or, what they can execute and what kind of portfolio they can create. So it is a lot where we do work hand in hand with them in terms of driving their design also, or what is from a possibility perspective. So certainly,
well, thank you so much. Could I ask Mehul Lodhia, who is the GJEPC representative to the UK and also an importer of gold jewellery and wholesaler. Hi, Mehul.
Hi, David.
Could you tell us a little bit about your experiences in practical terms importing gold jewellery into the UK, the obstacles you may have met and had to overcome, and how successful and how straightforward the whole process is?
Yeah, hello everyone. David, to be honest, this process is very simple. We have 2.5% import duty when you get the product into UK, which you pay to the clearing agent before you clear the goods, and on top of that we pay 20% VAT. But let me tell you, the process is very simple, and provided you go with the reputed clearing agents, which everybody does, who is into exports. But otherwise exporting to UK is one of the very easy way. And we also have a UKTI, who is based in every embassies around the world. So they have their staff in Indian embassy, like British Embassy in India as well. They are the one who identifies the market opportunities in UK and Europe, and they advise on setting up the UK, covering tax, employment, and many other aspects. So, but honestly, to get the jewelry into UK is not a big task. It's just about people do sometimes who are new to the exports. They feel a little hesitant that how difficult it's going to be, but it's not that difficult as we see from the other side.
Okay, thank you.
And one more point, I would like to say, as you said about getting product from India in different caratage. Like we as a company, we import 9, 18, and 22 all categories of jewelry from India, and it's all about changing the perception. India has got everything to offer. It's just about the way we identify the need, and they are ready to deliver.
Thank you very much, Mehul. I'd just like to ask our two UK independent retailers now, if I may, Gemma Murphy and Richard Hunt, what your general perception has been about Indian manufactured gems and jewellery, how you have perceived it, and also how your perception may be changing a little bit today based on what you've heard so far. Gemma or Richard?
Gemma, right now.
Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Richard, and then we'll listen to Gemma.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting the question to me. I've had a long-standing relationship with Indian manufacturing, started in about 2004. I was also part of a delegation that came across to the Seeps district in about 2009, along with Andrew. And we've had good relationships with the Indian manufacturing. We found the standards very acceptable.
We found delivery periods sometimes a little long-winded to start with, but that was improved. It was just that the demise of the demand for diamond jewellery slackened off, and we found that English manufacturing also caught up. So we didn't manage to uphold our relationships with our Indian manufacturers, but we found everything to be absolutely perfect with the guys, and we didn't have any issues at all.
Gemma.
Yes, thank you, David. So we like to buy our diamonds loose, and we do like to buy our diamonds in bulk as well. We would have often travelled to Antwerp a couple of times a year. But last year, my dad actually attended the India Diamond Week. So he travelled to Mumbai and really enjoyed the trip. He plans to return, and we had planned to return. He went along with Jeremy Knight from Australia. That's who had organised for him to attend. And he had an excellent experience. We have great relationships with some Indian manufacturers, but for buying loose stones, it's definitely something we plan to continue to do.
Very good. And Samantha, what is your perception also of Indian manufactured gems and jewellery?
We work with a few different Indian vendors and never found issues. It's actually something we've started to grow anyway. The only thing I would say is design-wise, we sometimes struggle because I think the designs are maybe more American than we would have. So slightly more, I would say there'll be more mill grain on it, higher heads, which we would tend to see more in the American market. But in terms of deliveries and price points, it all works well for us.
Okay, thank you. One area I would like to explore, and I'd like to ask the chairman, if I may, a question now about tariff structure and the outlook. Clearly, India and the UK will be looking to develop their bilateral trading relationships across the board during this period of Brexit. Chairman, do you foresee any changes in potential changes in tariff structure going forward on either side, import, export? What is the outlook in general terms in your view?
Very difficult to comment on, what will happen, I guess, once the dust on Brexit settles down. But based on what we know today, I don't think anything much is going to change, and the tariff structure today is very low. So having said that, there's no real, I guess, barrier to both the countries doing more and more trade together. I mean, India obviously has an obvious advantage when it comes to diamonds and gemstones and jewelry, which is labor intensive in nature. Like most of my fellow panelists have already explained, there's an entire diverse range of products that we're able to do. We are able to do platinum very easily, handcrafted jewelry, or whether it's, I guess, the very technical CNC kind of product. And having said that, UK has always been a very large market for bridal machine set rings, or whether it's just nicely crafted platinum engagement rings. And then you have the designers, which are, I guess, offering a lot of, the branded designer kind of product. So India has already demonstrated that it's capable of doing all that in a very effective, cost-effective manner, and with top quality and quick turnaround times. So I would strongly urge, our counterparts on the UK side, whoever is not working with India, to, give India a shot, work more with the partners which they haven't yet met, and I'm sure they'll have a happy experience. So I don't think tariffs is a barrier to doing business.
All right. So if I can then move to the UK manufacturers, to Gary Rowe and Andrew Morton, starting with Gary. Just Gary, what are your thoughts on possible areas of collaboration, business collaboration going forward between UK and India in terms of manufacturing? I mean, do you foresee any UK manufacturing export opportunities into India, for example, or do you foresee that you would import certain types of goods possibly? I mean, how may the landscape change going forward? What are your thoughts?
Thank you, David, and hello, everybody.
And certainly, I think one of the opportunities is with this, with the trade sort of, when we're looking at sort of getting together and connecting, it's a bilateral trade. It works both ways. So it's not just about imports, which we've heard a lot about, but certainly about perhaps there is a market there for the UK to export to. And we haven't really spoken a lot about that this morning. It's all been about the imported side, but certainly there must be something going the other way as well. That's what we call bilateral trade, and that's what Shirley's all about as well. So it'll be really interesting to see what opportunities were going the other way as well. I'll be really interested in that.
But what about tariffs, though? I mean, from your perspective, tariffs of, say, platinum into India, is this a big problem? Do you think organizations like the NAJ potentially should be lobbying India on tariffs? What are your thoughts?
I think there's opportunities to do that, David, and certainly when we're talking about low tariffs coming the other way as well, we really need to ensure that we are pushing these trade barriers and making sure that we are these bilateral agreements and we can get the opportunities for UK manufacturing and for exporting for the UK as well. It works both ways, as we've said.
Andrew Morton, what are your thoughts on potential collaborations between, say, UK manufacturers and India in bilateral trade? What are the possible ways forward and what are the obstacles?
Hello, David, and hello, everybody else. Well, we already trade in India through Gecko and import back to the UK. So a lot of what
Gecko is a subsidiary of Western Beamore, isn't it?
It is.
Silver jewellery manufacturer.
9 carat and the silver side of the industry. So a lot of what's already been discussed today, we're aware of. There has to be opportunities, and as has been said, I think ultimately it's to go both ways. We've talked previously with large companies such as Tata and their jewellery divisions to have a collaboration. So this whole concept is not new to us, and it's something we would welcome. In terms of tariffs, I think anything that can make trade easier has got to be challenged and looked at. So I think that's got to be resolved as we go forward, I would think.
And would you be looking to the UK's National Association of Jewellers or other bodies to lobby in that respect or not?
I'd look to anybody that could lobby in those respects and make life more straightforward for manufacturers and importers and exporters. I'll leave that to the politicians, but if they can get it right, then good, because we can all make the product. And if that moves it around the world more freely, then that's got to be a good thing for us all.
Yeah. So if I could just move to Andrew Hines of F. Hines, a multiple retailer. Andrew, welcome. Glad to have you with us today. Just wondering what your perspectives are on Indian manufactured gemstones and jewellery and any relationships you already have with India.
Well, we've been working with Indian manufacturers for probably 30 years. So I don't even think of our Indian suppliers separately from our other suppliers. They're just suppliers. So none of the questions really arise in terms of particular things that apply to Indian suppliers rather than others. Yes, we've got tariffs, but they're relatively small. They're livable with at the moment because there's a lot higher tariffs on lots of products going around the world. But obviously zero is ideal. Yeah, we find them responsive to our needs. We find products fine. So it's just the same with all of our supplier base, really. It works well. We expect it to continue to do so. Things have obviously changed over time. I would say there probably hasn't been as much crossover between the coloured gemstone world in Jaipur and elsewhere and the manufacturers in Mumbai that we've historically dealt with. But that's clearly been changing over recent years. And I think that's probably an opportunity to further develop the amount of business we do with our suppliers. I would say the one other major factor for us is that the business is becoming more one-off and bespoke. Customers, particularly at higher price points, even in the part of the market that we're in, are more often wanting an individual piece. And while that can be starting with a blank sheet of paper, that can also just be a variation on what they've seen in the window, a different metal color, different metal type, different diamond quality. And the biggest challenge with that is with Indian suppliers compared to some of our other overseas suppliers is the lack of consolidated shipping, which makes individual orders prohibitively expensive to ship. And whereas at Hong Kong and Thailand, we can have them coming in with other deliveries from other suppliers. Whereas I think in the SEEPs, that's a bit of a no-no at the moment. So if something like that could change, I think that would make a significant difference.
Okay, that's really insightful. Thanks so much for that. That's something for the Indian side to work on. Pravin Patni of Meena Jewellers, Tooting, could I just ask you very briefly what your experiences have been in terms of dealing with Indian suppliers, if the relationship has worked well for you, anything that could be improved? I think you may be on mute. There you are.
Yeah, thank you, David. And I've been working with India for a number of years. And over the years, I have had a reasonably good experience. I think initially what was challenging was that the Indian exporters used to promise a lot and not reach our expectations. So over the years, we've ironed out our importers, and we've got to a few of them who are understanding and understand the need for quality. And there is an increase of what Andrew was saying, that even on our side, we see a lot more of bespoke. So there's a lot more work to do. And I do share what Andrew was saying, is that there is work to be done for GJEPC in terms of the ability to have smaller consignments coming to the UK with reasonable affordability. So I believe that there is a lot of trade already going on 22 cat, 18 cat and lower metals. But there could be this value in thinking more about how we can get the freight charges lower and how we can improve on the shipping. So over the years, I've seen an improvement in the quality. And I think like what Sabyasachi and of course Colin was saying, they are ready to deliver what our expectations are, and the best are there with, and they're capable of delivering very good quality.
Thank you, Pravin. On that question of bespoke, it's very interesting what you said, and I do know that the bespoke or custom-made segment of the UK retail jewellery market has been growing quite a bit recently. If I could just ask Helen on that, do you think, Helen, there could be opportunities for Indian manufacturers to respond to the market for bespoke jewellery pieces in the UK, particularly as this market is now filtering down from the wealthy to the middle income segments? Do you think there are market opportunities in bespoke for Indian manufacturers?
Very much. It's probably the biggest percentage growth in a product category that I'm seeing, and certainly is very important to meet that demand. And of course, we've seen the diversity of product and capability and range and the adaptability of the Indian market. But I do think this is something that we can actually develop together. And to Samantha's point, I think we could be greater than the sum of our parts by us all coming together and understanding the design requirements from the UK as well as the opportunities in India, and I think that's on both sides. I think in manufacturing and in exports as well.
Great. I'd like to turn to Emmett, if I may, from the Company of Master Jewellers. Hello, Emmett. It's nice to meet you. We haven't met before, but I think that's entirely due to the pandemic, actually, because if there were no pandemic, we would have met face-to-face by now, but welcome today. Just wondering what your thoughts are in general terms about the future of Company of Master Jewellers trade events and the participation therein of Indian suppliers. Are you open to that possibility of having Indian manufacturers and brands joining increasingly your future trade events, whether they be virtual or physical?
I think open is the very key word to all of that. I'm here on a very open basis. You're almost leaning against an open door in that sense. I'm just soaking up what you guys are saying today. Look, in today's world, any type of trade is a possibility and has to be considered. And I have no reason to think that we wouldn't want to do this in the future. The long and short answer to your question, David, is yes. I would like to think we could possibly do that in the future. Yeah.
All right. Good. So I'd like to move next to the next segment, main segment of our discussion, to the trade shows, the virtual buyer-seller meetings and the IIJS, the India International Jewellery Show virtual edition. Clearly, the pandemic has led to the cancellation of a raft of international jewellery trade fairs around the world, including the physical IIJS this year in August, when it would normally take place. We've got a virtual one coming up between the 12th and the 16th of October, a virtual IIJS. Before we delve into the realities of what's coming up in terms of trade shows, I'd like to ask Helen to tell us a little bit about her experience coming over to the last physical edition of the IIJS, the India International Jewellery Show, in February of this year, just before lockdown. How she found the experience in terms of hospitality and also in terms of networking, making business opportunities with the Indian supply side. Helen, what was it like? How was your experience coming over to the physical IIJS in February this year?
It was absolutely phenomenal. If I'm honest, I was a little bit daunted before I set off for the trip. My perception was that the product category would be dominated with loose diamonds and high carat yellow gold. And I couldn't have been more wrong in the diversity of the product offering, as we've actually seen very well highlighted today. It wasn't just that, it was the capacity and the capability, and I'd say the adaptability. I'd say that from everybody I met, the answer was yes, and it's now, well, what's the question? Because there was such a willingness to work together, and that really came across with the hospitality and the networking. But again, forgive my naivety, I think what I was blown away was the technological advancement and solutions and resources. It was phenomenal, and the education that I had out there was amazing. So the thought leadership was really, really inspiring. But I think I have to safely say, with my head and my heart, I fell in love with the people and the country, and I'm delighted that today we get to share a little bit of that.
Thank you very much. If I could ask Bhumik Gajera a little bit about his perspectives on the outlook for virtual buyer-seller meetings. Bhumik, are you supplying into the VBSMs? What's your view, given the realities of the pandemic, which looks like it's going to be here with us for some time? Does this mean that virtual buyer-seller meetings will very much be a regular feature of the future?
Hello, everyone. I think it's a very good initiative which the GJEPC has taken, given that the current scenario is likely to stay for another 4 to 6 months. And through recent developments in technology, where people have started buying diamonds through online portals and phenomenal video and photo clarities, I think virtual diamond meet will be an excellent way to connect with the customers, as well as showcase our products and their requirements in a very detailed way, and find it easier for communicating with each other, I think.
And Kunal Mehta, what are your thoughts on the outlook for virtual buyer-seller meetings? How useful are they to you as a supplier? What are your thoughts about the future of them?
Well, it's definitely something which is a new platform, and I think with the digitalization of everything, I think it's a great initiative. I think it should be very successful, and it could be the way forward. I mean, if people are able to buy and sell virtually, then it's nothing like it. I mean, you don't have to travel for miles, go overseas and meet customers and meet suppliers and showcase your products. I mean, if it can happen virtually successfully, I think it would be revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean, from my own experience, traveling as I have done to so many international jewelry fairs around the world, I have to say that the Indians are right at the front of this technology, and the other key supply countries of gems and jewelry to the world are far behind. The Indians, the GJEPC, have been driving forward this technology very, very hard and organizing the structures around these virtual buyer-seller meetings very well. If I could ask the chairman, how have the virtual buyer-seller meetings gone so far? I mean, are you seeing increase in order flows, and have certain shows done better than others, say the gold jewelry show, for example? And what is the outlook in your view? I think you're on mute.
Colin, you are on mute.
Still can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry, David.
That's all right. So I'll just repeat the question.
Yeah, what are you asking? I can't hear you properly.
Okay.
For a bit there.
All right. How have the virtual buyer-seller meetings proceeded so far? Are you seeing an increase in order flow? And which type of virtual buyer-seller meetings have done particularly well? I mean, for example, the gold one. I know the gold jewelry one. You've reported strong buying by UK and Middle East buyers. And what, in your view, is the outlook for the virtual buyer-seller meetings?
So, virtual buyer-seller meets are here to stay. That's for sure. I think that goes without saying. There's been some, I guess, whether it's customers or buyers on both sides, I think both are adapting to it. So, since we started maybe piloting with this whole format, I would say a quarter back, we started the whole process at GJEPC in April, May, June during the whole lockdown time. And we met various companies on, how to do the video call. And we met various companies who can, do a nicer magnification of the jewelry, diamonds and gemstones. And finally, after, I guess, several rounds with several people, we zeroed in on this one format which we're doing for the international buyer-seller meet. And then we have the second format which we're doing for our virtual IHS. So it's still, I would say, work in progress. We're still learning. And I can only say that every show we're getting better. So, whether it's in terms of customers actually buying, I can tell you business is being transacted. So whether it was our diamond buyer-seller meet or the gold buyer-seller meet, at both the meets, we had actual serious business being transacted. Actually, I guess Bhumik just said it earlier, they were one of the companies who were even there at the diamond buyer-seller meet, and several others also. They've given us, they all want to know when the next one is. So they're happy. So I think it's here to stay for sure. And even if, obviously if there's no replacement for physical shows, but when that starts, I think the virtual buyer-seller meet is going to be a format which will stay in some avatar, for sure. In terms of, I guess, so if you look at two things over here, one is, and all of us do several shows over the last, I guess, many, many years. And there are two reasons why you do them. One is you're meeting your existing customers with new collections. And secondly, you're looking for new customers who've never met you or your company before. So I guess the virtual buyer-seller meet is addressing both in a very nice fashion. So you generally say if you're at Vicenza or you're at the UK Earl Scott show, and you would have a customer walk by your booth. And if they find something interesting in the window, only then, maybe you get a shot. And otherwise, they'll probably see 10, 15 manufacturers in a day out of 500 exhibitors which are there. And, it depends on your luck and whether you got the buyer's attention for that split second, of a minute. So at the virtual buyer-seller meet, the good positive is that everyone's getting fixed appointments. So in the fixed appointments, at least you have reasonable amount of time to showcase what you have when you're trying to impress upon a new customer. And then obviously it's up to the customer and the exhibitor when they're able to take the relationship ahead. But at least I would say they're getting fair opportunity, which they normally wouldn't get at a physical show. And secondly, besides that, when you're showing your new collections also, obviously the touch and feel isn't there because you're not on, you're not in front of the customer and you're not able to give the piece of jewelry in their hand. But what we've seen is that they're actually spending more time on the entire experience. So it's exactly like, say, and since Jayant is very, I guess, aggressive in the B2C space on the e-com side, and he has a lovely website, I'm sure most of you all have seen it. So this is giving the manufacturer also that opportunity of learning that space where the photograph is the hero. So you have to photograph your piece of jewelry well. You need the views, you need the 360-degree video view also, and you have pricing together. So actually, if the customer in this digital world also wants to sell online, then this gives him or her a better opportunity of transacting the business. I hope I'm able to explain that well, David. But whether it's just the meeting or even showcasing your product, on the virtual buyer-seller meet, it's actually happening better than the physical. So I guess in a few quarters, when things settle down and we're all past this, I guess some kind of hybrid solution of both is maybe going to be the future. The only good thing over here is that under Sabyasachi and the entire team at GJEPC, they've been very proactive, I would say, in the last 2 quarters into making sure they've evaluated every solution out there in India and abroad. We've looked at everything possible. We're working extremely aggressively. We've already done 3 shows. The large format IIJS is coming up. So I'm sure in another quarter, we'll become experts at how to do this better than, say, most others.
So in the longer term then, do you foresee that the IIJS as the main export portal, if you like, for gems and jewellery will be transformed into a sort of a so-called phygital plus digital event? The virtual component of trade is with us to stay.
I think it's here to stay, and I don't want to say anything controversial because our IIJS is still coming up. But I think what will happen is that virtual will happen more often because it's low cost, and it will probably help the manufacturer to keep more in touch with his retail customer. But again, like I said earlier, there'll be some kind of hybrid, I guess, model where maybe the 2 physical shows will happen as they used to happen. And maybe in addition to that, you have 2 virtual shows and, you're meeting your customer maybe 4 times a year, twice virtually and twice physically. And you're able to, showcase that much more product. And even if it's not just business to business transaction on the product end, at least you're in touch with the customer 4 times a year, which isn't a bad thing when you're, on the manufacturing side, even if it's just to instill interest or show something new in terms of design. So, I think there are 2 things happening. One is that we'll obviously be more in touch with the customer. That's for sure. But more importantly, I think what's happening on the manufacturing side is that, see, earlier, there was some amount of hesitation on, and I'm speaking on the Indian side, and I'm sure everyone wasn't like that, but there were many who were like that, is they were slow to adapt to the digital way of doing business. People were still naysayers that, okay, e-commerce will happen, but maybe it'll happen in electronics. Jewelry is still a touch and feel kind of business, and, customers, unless they don't, see the product or take it in their hands, they're not able to buy. So I think that mindset is changing on the manufacturer side. They're all realizing that they need to invest in tech. They need to invest in, good cameras. They need to make sure that they have somebody in their company who understands SEO, SEM, who understands how to describe a piece of jewelry, that it's not as simple as just, turning up at a show and waiting for a customer and, doing the... So I think that whole part of becoming digital quicker has happened. And, I guess you have to look at the bright side of things. So, in COVID, maybe that's the brightest side which has happened on the manufacturer end, where everyone's adapted to the digital, tech very quickly.
Okay, well, thanks for that. So if I could ask Jayant, as a UK-based participant who took part, I understand, in a virtual buyer-seller meeting recently, I mean, what feedback do you have, Jay, about the virtual buyer-seller meetings, and how useful was it for you?
I couldn't get over the excitement, the fact that in the morning I was in Mumbai, in the afternoon I was in Kolkata, and the following day I was, in Gujarat somewhere. And I think that's testament to the technology enablement that we're seeing at the moment. And what was quite exciting was the fact that we were in that particular wholesaler or manufacturer's own domain. And quite rightly, what Helen said, the answer was yes. What's the question? And there was a real solution, driven way of doing things. And every challenge I put forward was met with great eagerness. In fact, one manufacturer within 24 hours had samples ready for me. And that's exceptional service, you know, if that isn't, and you know, within 48 hours we'd sort of put a small collection together. So it was really interesting in terms of the eagerness and also the motivation to get things done.
All right. Thank you so much. So we've got a few minutes left for questions and answers, and I'd like this to be a free-for-all, please. So particularly from the UK side, if you've got any burning questions, please do raise your hand, and then we can answer it as best as possible. So any questions on anything that we've discussed today so far, please? Nothing? Any concerns about the efficacy of supply, for example, that you would like to be addressed? Okay, good. Well, that's fine then. We sort of covered everything very well today. So just a very few quick takeaways from me, and then I'll pass to Mansukh for a vote of thanks for the session today. Clearly, we're in the midst of a digital transformation of the gem and jewellery industry, and it has to be said that India is right at the forefront of this with the virtual buyer-seller meetings, which are the essential portal for Indian gem and jewellery exports. And clearly the take-up has started really well. So please keep an eye out for future events in this regard. We've seen the full and huge range of offering that the Indian industry provides, from diamond jewellery to handcrafted and silver and colour gemstones. Now these will be increasingly available through the virtual portals, and the next show being the IIJS virtual, taking place from the 12th to the 16th of October. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. It's been very wide-ranging and all-encompassing and free-flowing, as I hoped it could be. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining. I'd like to now hand over to Mansukh Kotari, who will give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, David. Good afternoon to my British friends and good evening to my Indian side. This was the first of the kind platform, and I think we should organize and such more conference to boost the gem and jewelry business between our countries. Today's discussion was very insightful and meaningful. I'm sure this platform gave us, both the parties, Indian manufacturers and the UK retail side, a better understanding about each other's gem and jewelry sector. I would like to thank each one of you for participating and making this event a successful one. I would like to thank Mr. Suresh Kumar, Joint Secretary, who had supported for this event. It's my pleasure to have Mr. Manish Singh, Minister Economics, and Mr. Rohit Wadhwani, the First Secretary from the Indian Embassy, UK. I would like to thank the UK contingent present here today and also the Indian participant from the manufacturing side. Thank you for your support and participation. Our moderator for the event, Mr. David Bro, Jewellery Outlook UK, we appreciate your time and effort in making the event a meaningful one. I would like to thank Helen from NAJ, Mehul Lodia, the UK coordinator for GJEPC, and Jen Rangia, Pure Jewels, for supporting David to put in this program together. Our chairman, Sri Colin Shah, Vice Chairman Vipul Bhai, we are grateful for your guidance support as we continue to explore various avenues of growth and harness new business opportunity for the Indian gem and jewelry industry. I would like to thank our secretary team led by Mr. Sabyasachi Ray for successful organizing this conference. I thank all the members of the media for the presence and their constant support and helping the council achieve its objective of creating a design awareness about the issue and highlighting the significant achievements and milestones. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we'll now close the session. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.